So for this end of year, I have 3 yarn hauls, or at least what I've done is I've taken my one ginormous yarn haul and I've broken it down into 3 parts. So this will just be a part of part 1, part 2, and part 3. Welcome back to Essential Crochet with Sig. I am thrilled to have you here with me today, and I hope you are happy to be here as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Have purchases from Michaels, Temu, Herrschner's, KnitPicks, and eBay. I gave myself a $500 budget. Now, I would have liked to have spent a lot more, and in reality, I actually did. By a little bit, maybe, but you'll know how much I went over here in the third video, at the end of the third video, where I break how much I spent down for each place that I purchased yarn and what I got from them and what my savings look like. But with that said, there are several of these vendors that I've never bought yarn from. I had no idea what to expect. And if I purchased yarn from them in the past, the yarn I purchased this time isn't something that I have purchased from them before. So a lot of this is going to be very new to me, and I'll go over each type of yarn that I purchased. Now, some of this yarn you may be familiar with from previous hauls that you may have seen on YouTube or that you may have purchased yourself. But a lot of the yarn I purchased, I haven't seen anyone really talk about on YouTube. I mean, I've seen some reviews, but that's about it. I'm going into this quite blind. And so I'll give you my opinion. I even weighed the yarn. So just as a caveat, I've already opened up the packages. Nothing was a mystery. Well, there was only one thing that was a mystery, but I'll go over that with you when we get there. But pretty much everything I purchased, I knew what I was buying. And because the one thing in these hauls that just actually drive me crazy is listening to the crinkling sound of the plastic that the products come in. When I'm finished here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove that plastic. So you're not going to hear it. And we're just going to get right into discussing the different yarns and where they came from and all the other things you watch a yarn haul for. So I'll meet you right back here in just about 1 second. So in this yarn haul video of 2023, well, end of 2023, I'm going to discuss my Michaels haul as well as my KnitPicks haul. Now with the Michaels haul, I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to get. I just happened to have several vouchers, some online promotional coupon, and some other discounts that came with the whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday thing. So what I settled on, I came across these One Hat Wonders, these Sesame Street One Hat Wonders. Now, I thought they were cute enough. I thought, well, maybe, they might work okay for, well, let's say a craft fair, or maybe maybe a donation or something, right? And then I saw the price, retail price. They were pricing out at about $12 individually. So that was a no. I noticed that some other stores, let's say anywhere from Michaels to Walmart to even Herrschner's, an average sale price and sometimes retail price for one of these guys would be $9. And that was fine, but that was way more than what I would spend on this for a couple of reasons. One, it's really not up my alley in terms of things to make, but I'm open to making them if the price is right and I can move them along fairly quickly. So then as I was looking through Michaels to find something I could spend my money on, I came across this weird little offer way kind of towards the end of the clearance section. There was a third-party company that was selling 3 4-pack groupings of these One Hat Wonders for $29.99. Now that was basically 12 one hat wonders. And if I had purchased them individually for, oh, let's say $12 or even $9, or even if I had purchased them bulk, because McDonald's, Michael's had them for bulk, and they broke down to about $8.87 a piece. So you saved approximately $3 and some change if you were purchasing them in bulk rather than individually from Michael's. So at first I thought, well, maybe that's a mistake, but I looked into it a little deeper, and no, it wasn't a mistake. I could get 3 4-packs for $29.99. So that brought the cost of each individual piece down considerably. It brought it down to something that was just around $3.50 a piece. So that made it a little more affordable, made it a little more interesting to me. So I went ahead and I put the one count of 3 4-count bags into my cart. So I'm going through Michael's, and there wasn't too much more I wanted to get. There were a few things, and I'll get into those here in just a moment. But ultimately, I went back and I grabbed another grouping of these. So basically, I ended up with 6 4-count bags, giving me approximately 24 of these hats to make. What I also thought was interesting was I had a special coupon, and I used that special coupon on these. So basically what it did is it brought it down like another 50%. So in essence, I got 24 of these little hats, or 6 of the 4-count packages, for a total of $39.98. So that was a definite go for me, because I figured I can sell some, I can maybe even possibly donate some. It really all depends on how things work out this year. And so I went ahead and did that. And of course I got them. And then I realized that the pattern that they gave for these guys was for knitting. I crochet. So I went ahead and I started trying to work up maybe a possible pattern or a couple of different patterns that I can mix and choose that would handle the amount of yarn that came in each one of these, because each one of these claims to have about 70 grams of yarn. Well, 70 grams of yarn is not quite enough yarn. Well, certainly not enough yarn to make an adult beanie, but these are clearly not adult beanie, But I discovered that using the same pattern on 2 different hats left me with one hat where I had yarn left over, and then the other hat where I fell short. I didn't have enough yarn to complete the same exact pattern. So it's like, well, what the hell? So I went ahead and I weighed each yarn individually. Not all of them, but I broke open like 3 packages and removed the heads and all the packaging, and I weighed the yarn. And it turned out that each ball of yarn is really grossly inconsistent. I found that my balls of yarns for each hat could weigh anywhere from 64 grams to 73, 74 grams. I mean, it was that much of a difference. So that was unfortunate. But the pattern is for knitting. So I think probably, because when you knit, you actually use less yarn, I think probably that made, if you're going to knit one of these hats, you're going to be fine. If you're going to crochet one of these hats, well, like I ran into, you might find it to be a little hit and miss. So what I did was I actually came up with a quick, super simple pattern, which is really nothing special, but it works. I can make 2 sizes of hats from this. I can make a hat that will fit a 1 to 3-year-old and a hat that will fit a 7 to 10-year-old using as little as 64 grams of yarn. Now I went ahead and I actually made a tutorial for that, so I'll link that up as soon as that tutorial drops here within the next week or two from the filming of this particular video. Also, the only other place that I've run across that offers a pattern or a crochet pattern that works for this hat is Herrschner's. If you go to Herrschner's online site, they will offer a free pattern for a crocheted version of these Sesame Street One Hat Wonders. And I'm thinking maybe it's something they came up also themselves, because I haven't seen that anywhere else. So I've only seen them do it, and then of course my video that I've seen. So just a quick beanies, just to give you an idea of the pattern. And this is how they work up. They're very cute. They work up pretty quickly. And so in terms of this, yeah, I mean, it was a little challenging to make this yarn work because, you know, I had questions. But it works fine. And at the end of the day, when it broke down to approximately $1.67 per piece, I'm not going to complain if I have to go that little extra mile in order to make that work for that price, especially when they normally will go for anywhere from $9 to $12 per piece if you're buying them individually. I purchased 2 of these Caron cakes. Now, this particular Caron cake is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. It feels fine. It's not super soft, but it's not scratchy or rough at all in any stretch of the imagination. The colorway is called Buttercream. So I really like this because it's just subtle and it's neutral. So you have this very subtle taupey, creamy, sort of grayish, and then you come into more a lavender and kind of a rosy pink with sort of a soft sage. And so all these colors, they work very well. And I got 2 of these. They have 200 grams, 7.1 ounces each, and they contain 383 yards apiece. Now, with the discounts and the special coding that I was able to get, I managed to get each one of these for $1. They normally retail out at $9. So that, again, worked for me. I wasn't able to get more than just the 2 cakes for that price. And that's fine. That still works. So that still kept my funds in really good shape in terms of coming from Michael's. Now, I did get one more. I took advantage of one more sale that I was able to get from Michael's. And that was for these ginormous Caron anniversary cakes. They're huge. This one is called Blackbird. Let's see if I can get that for you. You can even see that. Fitting this under my camera is a little tricky. So that's Blackbird. It's 100% acrylic. It's 35.3 ounces. I'm looking at between 1,061 yards, 970 meters. Now, I'm supposed to be able to get a full blanket or afghan out of this. And of course, Caron has given me a pattern, but there again, it's only a knitting pattern. So I have to come up with a crochet pattern that will make this mostly a throw size. You can see that this Blackbird color has these grays and these blacks and sort of these navies and then this light blue. And maybe even a slate blue in there. So I believe it's going to be it's a self-striping. And I have an idea on what pattern to use for this. But it won't be a true blanket size because, well, there again, I will be crocheting this. And certainly I believe I'll need a lot more than 1,000 yards to create an afghan. However, a nice little blanket throw or a nice small little afghan for a child may work out very well. And then the second color I got for this is called Birch. So you can see it still has some of that same light gray color, neutrals, some creams, some light tans, kind of an orangey brown with a regular brown. And that one is a nice color too. Specs are all the same. Now, if you're going to purchase these huge anniversary skeins or cakes, you're going to spend retail price. You're going to spend $39.99 for them through the coupons and whatever deals were going on. I got the 2 of them, and I was only able to purchase the 2. They only had 3 left that were available within this particular deal, so I picked the 2 colors that I liked. The third color I wasn't feeling at all, so I didn't purchase that one. But basically, I was able to get the 2 of these for $36. Okay, so I couldn't pass that up either. Now, bulky yarn really isn't what I work with a lot, but I do work with it sometimes. So I'm excited to see what I can do with this in terms of making a nice small throw or a small child's blanket just using the single skein of this anniversary cake. So that brings us to the total. Now, if I had purchased everything retail price in bulk, I didn't break it down to buying the little one hat wonders individually. I based my prices off if I were going to intend to buy them in bulk to begin with. Everything together would have cost me a total of $344.88 retail. But with the sales and the discounts and the vouchers that I had to use, I spent a total of $77.98. Now, I tell you these things not to necessarily brag, although it is very exciting. I tell you this because for those of you who struggle, like many of us do, to get a variety of yarns that you like available at the time for when they come out, for what you can afford to pay for them, because they can get quite pricey. Even your basic standard everyday acrylics can add up so quickly. So I tell you these things so that I can show you that even on a very limited budget, if you're willing to put in the research and you're willing to look around and see what's available and spend a little additional time doing it, maybe not quite as bad as extreme couponing, but something near that, you can really find some good deals and some good coupons that will really help pad your budget just a hair. So now next I'm going to move on to my KnitPicks yarn that I received. The next yarn that I'm going to be showing in this video today are from Palette. And I got Palette Minis Sampler. Now, when I say samplers, I mean samplers. I got these yarns from KnitPicks, and they come in, for the full set, you get 3 boxes. So basically, you get 150 different colorways. It's amazing. And they're all minis. So each ball is going to be 20 grams. They actually come in little mini skeins. Each skein is going to have 92 yards. It's 100% Peruvian Highland wool. They're considered a fingering weight, and they say that they're a weight 2, but personally I think they're closer to a weight 1, and you'll see what I mean when I get into it. So we're going to have 3 different boxes, and each box has a theme. So this theme for this first box is oceans and forest, or rather forest and ocean. And the description tells us, from dark greens to cheerful cayenne and everything in between, this sampler features all the hues you need for stunning multicolored projects, used together in a single project or sweeping tonal gradients. or choose a selection of hues for dramatic pop and color. If you follow me on my other channel, which is Weaving Weird Studio, you'll see I do a lot of lace work. And I particularly do a lot of color work there. And so even though I'm showing you the yarn here, I use a lot of that yarn over there. So I'm totally excited. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open this box. And I just love these boxes because they remind me of these giant boxes of candy. And this is what you can expect in terms of the color range that this particular company offers for their yarns. And then also, if I wanted to, I could download this pattern. And in this pattern, I could use each mini to create a block. And then I can use those blocks to create this afghan with this whole arrange of like this giant color palette afghan. So look at that. I mean, the colors are just beautiful. The range of colors, the gradation of colors, the kind of detail work I could get in some of those lace pieces using some of these colors, I am just totally excited to get into and start playing with. Now, it's not just this layer. I get a second layer within the box. So let me see if I can move these guys over without making too much of a mess, and that doesn't seem to be what's going to happen. Now I have these beautiful blues. So this is fantastic. Give me just a second and we'll go ahead and I will show you the different boxes, the other two boxes. Now this is the box that has the colorways that fall under their sunrise and sunset description. And so what they tell us about that, or how they describe this box, says from vibrant reds to royal purples and everything in between. This sampler features all the hues you'll need for stunning multicolored projects, used together in a single project for sweeping tonal gradients, or choose a selection of hues for dramatic pops and colors. Pretty similar to the last description. So you can see these are our purples and our reds. Let me go ahead and move them over so we can see what the colors below look like. I am so excited. And they just have this ridiculous selection. I mean, they even include their heathers. And I love heathered yarn. So this makes me particularly happy. Also, just to quickly show you, so I know I mentioned to you that they say this is a weight 2, a 2 weight. But I personally, again, see it more as a 1 weight. And you can see what I'm talking about right here. So that looks more super fine to me. And now this bottom row, with the exception of a couple of colors, I'll just remove them. I get these beautiful, cool colors. So the first set of colors that I have right here are my warm sunset colors. And then these colors are very cool. They're beautiful. Look at these grays and these purples and these lavenders. Just lovely. These roses and kind of more dusky colors. Yeah, I am pretty pleased with this order. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Now, they also sell these obviously in regular sizes. And if you wanted to, if you were so inclined to, you could also purchase this set, but with regular skein sizes. Yeah, that would be amazing. If you could afford it, it's not very cheap. It would have taken all of my budget plus some just for that. But for the color work that I do, this is completely adequate. And again, it gives me a chance to really play with the different colors to see which ones I like. I like working with this yarn, so this isn't a problem for me either. Ooh, look at that. And we're going to move on to the next yarn. Now, the last box that I got in this set is the Mountain and Desert box. So this is going to hold my earthy browns and my bright whites. Again, apologize for any paper crinkles. Okay, so it's not just straight browns and whites. I've got some yellows and some oranges, but they're all very, very muted. And most of them are very, very earthy toned, which is just perfect. Some of these brighter colors definitely really remind me of the brightness of some of those flowers you see on the cacti. So yeah, this is very much reminiscent of a desert or mountain scape for me. I lived many years in New Mexico, so this is definitely on par with those colors, those natural colors, and that makes me very happy. I mean, look at this. This is like the softest of sage. So let's see what's underneath this. And look at this beautiful heathered, they call it a kumquat color, this particular colorway. Yeah, that's just gorgeous. All right, now here's where we come into our whites and our grays. That's nice. So yeah, this box is very appropriately named. So I would definitely say your sunset and sunrise colors are definitely your brighter, warmer colors that kind of fall within that spectrum. And then your forest and ocean are definitely your cooler colors that fall into that spectrum. And then your desert and mountain, these definitely kind of fall into more your neutral tones. And how lovely is that? What a great amount of colors this set offers me to work with. Well, for those of us who love color, this is a fantastic set to be able to have. So now, if you liked these mini skeins, you know, as a side note, I just think I throw that out there for those of you who are maybe interested in dyeing. They sell what they call bare only or bare colored, B-A-R-E. And they're just the mini skein of natural non-dyed yarn of this fingering weight wool. And what a perfect way to try out new dyes, new color combinations without having to go with large skeins or cut up larger skeins. They already come in these little convenient skeins. And I believe the skeins are currently going for $1.50 a piece, maybe $2.25. I don't know if the $1.50 is the sale and the $2.25 is the retail. You'd have to go to KnitPicks just to double check. But if that sounds like something you're going to be interested in, check it out. You might be really happy to find that you can purchase a whole bunch of these and just try them out on all different color combinations. Or maybe you just need a little bit of a certain color and you don't want to use a whole skein of yarn for that one color. This is perfect. At any rate, getting back on topic, each one of the boxes that I showed you runs a retail price of $119.99. So that's 50 mini skeins for basically $120. Now, if you buy all 3 boxes together, as I did, I was able to get each box for $89. So that's a discount of $30 per box. So a $90 discount right there if I bought all 3 of them together. On top of that, I was able to get an additional 20% off. So that gave me another $53.99. So in total, I saved $143.99. On top of that, and I don't have this written down as a cost, I was also able to get a special discount or a special coupon to waive my shipping fees. Now, in the continental US, shipping is usually free from all the different companies. But here in Alaska and over there in Hawaii, you know this as well, we typically pay for shipping, and shipping is not cheap. So if we can find a coupon or we can find somebody who's willing to ship to us for free, it's cause for celebration, let me tell you. So something like this. So these boxes came in 3 individual boxes themselves. So if I were to sit down and calculate what standard shipping on that would be, I'm probably looking at $60 for shipping if I had paid for shipping. Now, I didn't calculate that into this cost, but I thought I'd throw that out there to give you some context of what shipping looks like for us up here. Okay, so with that said, the total of everything would have retailed out at $359.97. I had a savings of $143.99. So I paid a total of $215.98. So really that was even just less than what I would have paid for 2 boxes separately. 2 boxes separately would have cost me an easy $240 plus whatever the shipping would have been. Let's say another $40. So I'd probably be looking at $280 if I had just bought 2 of them. But here I got 3 of them for $215. So for me, that was a fantastic deal. And I'm very excited because I've really, I've been eyeballing these minis for, about a year and a half now. And just haven't really been able to justify the cost. But, since I could get whatever I wanted in the budget I had for my year-end yarn haul, this fit nicely right into that. So that's it for my year-end of 2023 yarn haul part 2. I got one more video coming out that'll wrap up my yarn haul for this year. So thank you for sticking around, especially if you stuck around this long. And I'd also just want to let you know I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you and have yourself a wonderful weekend.